You going? You going?
You know, shortly after we got here, I had this feeling. Korea reminds me of Fallout. And not in like the wasteland, radioactive super mutants, risk of getting killed in the street every day kind of way. But if you've played the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Alright, so this looks pretty standard for Fallout. You got these little cities, little survivor encampments. You never really see people coming in and out of these buildings, but they're like these little micro downtowns. Yeah, we got a bunch of these things in Korea, actually. But we've also seen a lot of things like this. Was that fucking toxic? I'm not going in there. There's garbage strewn everywhere. Occasionally you'll just see like one lone guy wandering around like, ooh, I wonder what he's got for sale. Oh, an industrial complex. There's gonna be some good salvage in there. Bet there's some mutants or shit. I better go buy some ammo before I try going in. And then there's lots of stuff like this. Off in the distance you'll see, yeah, that one weird looking building, and you know, oh yeah, I am definitely supposed to go check that out.
These seem so mysterious. Let's move on. Alright, now you know how in video games, obviously, especially in older games, it's hard to keep making new buildings when they're just going to be far off in the distance. So you have like the one or two building models that you use kind of over and over again, and you just repeat them, which seems kind of out of place, and not in Korea.
Either this is a video game or I've stumbled into a condo farm. I guess they just export built condos? There's another one. I got the brown model over there. Alright. This is some seriously lazy game design. And look at the draw distance. This fog is crazy. Pollution, fog, whatever.
Next up, you've got the landscape itself. Let's take a look.
Can no vegetation grow in this post-apocalyptic nightmare? This is kind of nice. It's got kind of like a radioactive look. Oh, look at that tram line. Oh, actually, that's kind of like Fallout. Okay, now how is this not the capital wasteland? And here's that part where they just sort of finished building the city. Like, oh, well, you're not really supposed to go outside of this area of the game, so we're not actually going to put anything there.
And then, of course, there's the mountains, which are on all sides around us all the time. Like, you'd look at them and think, oh, there's no fucking way I'm getting over that thing. They do that in video games all the time, especially in games like Fallout, where you got those big open sandbox areas. You want to keep wandering. You want to just keep going out into the distance for days. But obviously, because of the size of the game, they can't let you do that. How do they stop you? A body of water or some big-ass mountains. Every time. We got those.
Yeah, there's no escaping this nightmarish hellscape. Well, maybe I'll get on the other side of those mountains one day when they release an expansion pack DLC that lets me get over there. There's another one of those fucking condo farms!
And you know, well, I couldn't really get footage of any of them. There's these little tiny garbage piles everywhere. That sounds really bad, but I don't think they have big city dumps here. There's just little ones in each neighborhood, and they go through them like that, which of course reminded me of Fallout. Not to mention I did just get finished playing the game, so these things were all pretty fresh in my mind. But it was just all laid out for me, this vast world where you look off in the distance and go, wow, I'm gonna go out there, and I can't understand anything, and I don't know what the people are saying, and everything looks dangerous, and there's just these canals and depressing colors because of the time of year. Overhead things that looked like the freeways, what for the tram, and the post-Soviet sort of inspired architecture, and the just... Wait a second.
Actually, now that I think of it, the city looks more like a depressing Eastern Europe kind of setting. It's got those big dried up canals. You might even be evading police while you fly down those on a hovercraft. Depressing colors, toxic air, construction that harkens back to the 50s. Tram rides! Korea doesn't remind me of Fallout 3, it reminds me of Half-Life. 1 and 2.
I gotta stop playing so many games.